Okay, is that better? Should be. All right, I am not completely well, but I am here, and I sound much better than I did last time. uh, NQ just bounced our value from from Friday, so we were able to maintain our UT1, our upside target 1, right, which is just our value high from our previous session. Able to hold that. Now trying to build here. We'll watch to see if we can get above this after holding POC, and if we can, then we can look for a rotation, something like this, up to our value high on the day on NQ, back up to this node up here. ES held our value low from yesterday and is now battling to get back to our daily POC and value high from our previous session. So we'll just be watching as we push up into that. If we can hold here and bid, we'll be looking for some sort of rotation up into this, and then either, a reaction down, or, we'll look for the flip and then the rotation into these highs would be my assumption. So we'll see what they do here. I'm a bit better. I have a really bad cough, really bad cough. But I think it's just all the crap trying to get out of my system. It is very hard to sleep though. Holy. Well, now you're supposed to sleep when you cough every 5 seconds, laying down. But I can speak, so that's a huge improvement. Rejecting our first pivot here so far at UT2. Watching to see if we can hold POC off of our current day profile. Right, this orange line here. If we can do that and then get above, then we can look for the full rotation. If this fails, right, then nothing's changed. So we really want to see a pretty clear bid here at 95, 90, whatever you want to call it, and push above if we're going to continue higher, or we're gonna head back down to our value edge at 37. So we'll see what they do. Just looking for higher lows. If we flip 980 on NQ, that would be your first sign of like a pretty clear rotation back down to value low. So just watching to see if we can build here. Some very clear absorption. They're trying to take in size here at 05, 010 on NQ. But I mean, we'll see what they do. I don't know if they're going to win this.
Downturning negative, last down 0.3%.
Like I said, if they get below a 980, and then offer it, then maybe we go down to 30s. But until then, this is where I expect them to try to defend heavily. This is just us trying to defend POC on the daily profile. If they can get over 010s here, then we're in an okay spot. If they can then bid this on the look over, if they continue to absorb this 010, then we're just stuck between 980 and 010 on NQ for now. We'll look above. Still absorbing here. Bid trying aggressively to step up. Retesting. See if we can hold this. Not ready. Russell needs to find this low. I think NQ's okay still, but RTY needs to find this low here, maybe a double bottom. Let's see if we can do it. Still stuck here at our 010 to 980. Watching to see if we can bottom here at our London low. Bit of an aggressive sell, getting absorbed here at 980 once again. Retesting our 05, 010. If they offer this and then push us down, then NQ is kind of dead. But if we can bid here from 980 and then pop above, then we're in an okay spot. Again, we're looking for Russell to find a low while NQ is able to oscillate here, continue to bid, and then be able to push with the rest of the market. If they can't do it again, then we'll be looking for that as a reoffer point below 980. Someone very clearly taking in size there. What's up, Adam? I'm hoping, but we'll see. They're really trying to push this thing down here at 980. So if they fail, then we'll have a nice little move on our hands. Got to get back over 010 and then bid for this to really have any flair.
China's premier is willing to work with UK Prime Minister Burnham to boost ties.
If you're playing off of 980, great first risk off. Let's see if we can flip this and bid, or if this will be another rotation. Russell is leading down, retesting lows. Another failure at 010s. Not looking great. Failure at our 80s. Russell leading down. See if we get a retest. But sell side very clearly winning that auction there. See what they do here on this look below. I want to see a pretty aggressive maintaining. Of these lows now. Off of the failure at our highs. New 15s in 20 seconds should let us know. Good reoffer at 980, pushing down. Really nice move. I'm out half here off of our rejection of our 980. I'd like to see us test lows, this wick low, but we'll see. I'm out half. Russell getting a bounce, so NQ getting a bounce. Watching our retest into VWAP and our 980, 990. POC and low, these sellers are off sides where we took our profit. Watching to see if we can get above POC to value of this candle here into our O10s on this attempt for the reverse, or if this is all we're going to get. We'll see. I'd expect a rejection here, a hold of our 980s if we're going to go up, and then a bid and flip of this for continuation if it's going to happen. If not, this will fail here. We'll rotate back through and then retest lows for continuation down. So we'll see. It'll be a retest of our 980, I believe, that will let us know if buy side is going to sustain here or not. Failure to sustain. Russell lost momentum. NQ was able to hold our O10. No change. Sell side still sitting there. New lows taken. Next risk off. If you're playing off of that flip, the failure. Rotation down. Still haven't taken out lows. Yes, still just maintaining, no change. See if Russell can continue to move down or if it bounces again. Unsure. Again, it's just holding POC to value of our previous candle as resistance, right? And then a rotation down. It's very volatile. Don't get me wrong, but NQ has a very clear, very distinct level here at this 010. If we can't sustain above, it's not gonna go up. Getting a really heavy down here into our lows on NQ. We need to see this sustain, or this is going to be another trap, right? Off of a exhaustive move where lots of effort is being exuded from sellers and not a lot of ability to push down from here. We need to see a very clear sweep of this node that we're building out here, or we will potentially trap and then look back up once again off of another failure. So we need to see them really try to defend this low and continue to push us down below this wick. It's very important that sell side is able to do something with this this node that we're building out down here. Because again, if they can't, and this POC sticks in the lows, and then we flip back over our value high of this candle, then we have the same situation that happened last time, which is we then rotate back up off of another failure from sellers to do anything. So we just continue to watch how we build out here and see if they can continue to push down. If we can continue to make sure that these guys are offsides above and that sell side can then take out lows. That's the most important thing right now. That's our low taken off that wick. Good stuff. See if they have follow through or if that's that. I took off another 5 there. I have 5 left from 64 here. I'm not sure what they're going to do now that they've taken out that low. We'll find out soon. Sell side really trying. The level to hold now is 40 to 60 above where this buyer was taken in, just like we talked about. Watch that as our retest. We have 4 minutes left on this 15-minute candle. ES just took out that wick low as well. Watching to see what we do now.
The IDS says withdrawal from the pilot zones in southern Lebanon will take place on Tuesday, Conte Axios.
I don't have much here until new 15's open. I'm just going to look for a continuation. We have buyers attempting to absorb here into our lows for short term. Don't know if they're going to be able to hold it. We'll see. But if they do, then we're just going to be headed up to 940, 960 first to fill this LVN, and then we'll figure out what we want to do after that. So very clear absorption into 940, 960. Either we'll then flip and then look to go up from there, or we'll look to then go down. But this looks like it's going to oscillate for right now while we wait for ES and RTY to decide what they want to do as well. Yeah, I mean, buys looked very viable until they didn't, right? Until we were unable to hold above 010s. There's very clearly someone trying to take in size at 980. We talked about if they failed to sustain there. Very clear after the flip that they were unable to. We didn't get that secondary buyer to step back in at 980. They swept through, and then we rotated down. So buy side failed, and sell side took advantage and then took us down, right? So that is what happened. We're now watching to see how we interact here. In a very clear downtrend, sell side in control. No look for a bid until we see the market show that it wants to buy. So far, all we're seeing is absorption at every key level and then a continuation down. So we want to follow that pathing, follow that understanding of downtrend until that changes, right? Until that shifts. There is someone very clearly taking in size, but they're unable to stop the bleed, right? So until we see that right side of V, we just continue to play with trend. I'll wait for the new 15 to add positions. I have 5 contracts left from 964.50. Is it time to sell? I mean, I'm short already, so I don't really know what you're saying, but for ES, it's going to be very hard to short here. This is previous day value low. So we need to see ES move below this before we get anything more on ES. You're in a much better position to short NQ here for right now until we see what happens into this low. This, we have a very clear
Also,
pivot.
Rachel Reeves resigns as UK's Chancellor of the Exchequer.
And where we're headed, which is previous day POC. If we can hold this 40 to 60, then we're going to be headed down to 20 to 30 for a push into this. We want to watch to see what happens here on ES. Is the downtrend intact? Yes, yeah, for sure. But I don't know if we're going to get a responsive bid here short term that you're going to then get chopped up in before we continue downward. I'm assuming that we probably will. That'd be my guess. So you want to be careful. Maybe look for like 508, 510 as a reoffer from here at 502, and then see if we can then flip below this for a rotation for the full gap fill down to like 88. That's my guess, but we'll see. Maybe it just goes without it, and that's fine. All you need is a flip of this value low as resistance, and then you don't need this retest higher. But just be anticipating that this might happen here on ES. New 15's opening soon. New 15s are open.
Burnham says he will use any flexibility within UK fiscal rules. Burnham says premature to look at raising top rate of tax. Speak to reporters in Downing Street on Monday. Burnham also says we'll stick to existing fiscal rules and won't take risks. We'll consider raising personal tax allowance. And he also says he won't leave the office without reforming social care. But the key point there, he'll use any flexibility within UK fiscal rules. Just keep an eye on the pound, seeing some further movements towards the downside here, off the back of those comments to reporters from Andy Burnham. Gilts extending decline after Burnham remarks on fiscal rules. The pound falling today's lows against the dollar, down 0.2%. Again, off the back of the comment that Burnham says he will use any flexibility within UK fiscal rules.
There's your bounce on ES that we talked about at that 502. Watching as we push up into 508, 510. See if they find sell side here. Same thing with the NQ into our 40 to 60. This would be where we'd be looking for a lower offer if we're going to continue short term. If not, then we're headed back up to POCs, right? So pretty important that we see sell side want to defend this lower high. Some pretty clear absorption so far into 30s on NQ, 35, 40. See if they can defend it here on retest, just like our pathing suggests, for one more leg down, or if this is going to fail here. So far, just hitting our heads on this. Nothing crazy. See if buy side flips this or if we sustain here. Again, this is the test. This is where we absorbed last. We're watching to see if sell side still has more in it to defend this for another leg down, or if buy side's going to be able to flip this and rotate. I don't have the answers. We can only anticipate where the bounces are most likely going to
UK
occur.
10-year gilt yield rising to the highest since July 14th, up about 7 basis points on the day.
Which is what we did. Now we're looking to see if sell side can defend the same levels that they defended last. So this is where we're watching. We'll see what they do. So far, they're taking in but we're not being able to see them push down yet, just absorb. Great first risk off if you're playing off of 40 to 60 into our 900s for 40 points. If we can flip this, we get more. Same thing with ES below 500s, 501s. Good, like 10 points on ES off of our pivot. Gotta flip below 500s on ES, gotta flip below 900s on NQ, reoffer here, or this is where we should expect to bounce. This is our value low on both ES and NQ, and it has to become resistance if we want more. It should be an obvious level to take profits until that becomes resistance.
Alibaba to appeal EU's record fine. Also keep an eye on the UK 30-year yield rising 9 basis points to about 5.75%, high since May of 20th. Again, that's the highest since 20th of May.
I'm stopped on runners above 62s on NQ, off of the hold of our lows on value, our value lows on ES and NQ. Just in runners, watching to see what we do here. Potentially another short, we'll see. Just gotta watch what happens. This is still where they're absorbing, but I need to see us push lower and not flip this. Might need to look above 62s. They stop me out, and then I re-enter on the pushback below 40s again. But regardless, I will stop out. I have a limit there. So even if they wick me out and then we push back down, we need something new clearly after that hold. Stopped watching to see if they just wick me out and then we push back below, or if something changes here. Again, we held value low. We are now rotating up to POC. So we were unable to hold the lower high. We're now rotating back up to where our main sell side is sitting on both ES and NQ. So this is now where we watch to see what sell side wants to do. Makes sense. You can see all that sellers in that low on footprint. You can see buyers into these highs. You can see that we have pushed above value. We are now watching to see if we sustain here or if this fails. Russell leading up, watching to see what happens again as we push into our POCs. I am stopped.
Iran's foreign minister Arakchi called sources set to Pakistan.
There is very clearly absorption into 29K to 030, same as before. So I have nothing to do here until we actually are able to hold this area like we were looking for last time, right? So right now we're rejecting the 980. We know that we need to sustain above this. So what I'm watching for is, now that we're back up here to where this sell was originally, right, that pushed us down, can we sustain and then push above for the upside move? Or is this just rotating back to our previous auction where we rejected off of the failure at the lows? I don't have an answer for you yet. All I know is that I've been stopped. Sell side failed at our lows to do anything new. And we are now rotating back up to our main area of supply, right? We can see that supply here. What happens from here is what we're now looking to figure out, right? We can see these buyers up top. We can see these sellers below. We understand what is happening right now. We're going to be watching to see if from this area, right, do we trap these buyers? Do we then retest? Are we then able to get below? And then can sell side actually do something with this now? Or are we just balanced here between these two participants for right now? We'll know shortly. In my opinion, nothing has changed in our overall structure or what I'm looking for. I'm just flat for right now while we make a decision, but I'm not looking for longs until we can flip over that 010 just like before. That's the only area I'm watching for longs. Everything else is just a short. Sell side is very clearly in control. We're still taking in size in the exact same place where we took our original short off of the flip of 980. There's no change there. We can see how much buying is trying to happen into that. So much effort is being exuded. No movement is being able to push right through. We're watching to see if they can actually sustain these higher lows across the market. If they can, great. We still need to then see that very clear bid, pop, hold. Then we can look for longs using this as our risk. Right. But until then, I just, like, what am I going to do? Long into 980? In the middle of our range? Does that seem like a good idea? Or we could go back down to here? To me, no, doesn't make sense. It's a 50-50 right now. So I will wait. We have a minute until new 15s. Surely we'll get a decision into that.
Fed bids for 6-month bills total $4.8 billion. Fed bids for 3-month bills total $5.6 billion. Seeing UK 30-year gilt yield rising to the highest since May 20th, up more than 8 basis points on the day.
All right, let's see what they do here. So we push into our 980 to 010. Do we hold this or can we flip it and bid it? Look at the shape of this current profile right now. What happens if this very top-sided candle fails to sustain above here into these highs? What does a P candle indicate? Late buying, right? So if they fail to sustain, then it's more of the same, right? Their failure into our highs at 980 to 010. We need to see this profile sustain above value and then bend, which is why we're looking to get over that 010s. Or this is just another absorption and then failure. Same as before, like we talked about. So we need to see a very clear auction shift here into these highs. Or again, it's just an exhaustive bid that fails to sustain, and then we then rotate back through the auction, just like before. That's why we've labeled this area very clearly. See what they do. See if we put in a lower high here, or if we're able to just flag it out, pop over that 010 bid, go for continuation. Watching. Buy side trying here again into 90 to 29K. You can see POC shifting. They're trying to build at these highs, just like we talked about. They've got to sustain. We can't exhaust here, or we'll get that P-shaped profile and then that shift back below. Need to see a bid really trying at this tail. Pop this thing. Show that flip.
Quantifiers news alarm sirens were activated at the headquarters of the US 5th Fleet in Bahrain. As in light of reports of hearing several explosions in Bahrain. So a reminder at the bottom of the hour, we give the US with the 3-month and 6-month bill auctions, with the US looking to sell $92 billion in 3-month bills and $79 billion in 6-month bills. Prior high yield for 3-month was 3.76%, prior bid to cover of 2.84. 6-month bill, prior high yield of 3.86%, prior bid to cover of 3.11.
All right, we'll look above. Let's see if we can sustain the flip above our daily POC here at our 980 to 010. Very important that we're able to do something with this. Buyers got us here. Can they now do something, or do we exhaust? Is that all they had? Did all we do is trap up here and then fail and then rotate back through, or can they bid, right? This is the top of our range. What do they need to do to actually get us out? Well, they need to show a desire for continuation, right? We need to see secondary buyers now willing to bid the highs of our auction, letting us know that something is changing, right? There's a shift. This is now not expensive. This is now a discount because we want to go even higher, right? So we need to now see that. If they fail to show that interest here, where sell side has been showing its hand, then what happens? Well, we then would rotate back down, right? They can't show that this is a worthwhile price to buy at and that we want to continue higher, and we're going to then do the opposite. Right? We have to prove that we're actually going to shift. That is the objective right now. So let's see if the rest of the market can follow through. We're watching to see if ES can find a bid here at previous day POC after holding our low, right? Can we now sustain today's POC as well as previous day and get above? Then we can
French
head
Foreign
up to
Minister
previous day
Barrot
value
says
high.
2 embassy officials were seriously intimidated by Iranian security services on Sunday.
Let's see if we can get this push. 40 seconds until new 15s. No look above and hold as of yet. ES and NQ testing daily POC here. Russell sustaining highs, no change. It's just the same pivot as before. Need to see a very clear pop and hold above. Watching for new 15s to sustain above. Five seconds. New 15s have opened. Opening above POC to value of previous candles. Let's see if we can hold
Interior,
that on open.
Minister of Interior arrives in Pakistan from Iran.
Big battle up here. Very two-sided.
Shortly expecting 3 to 6 month bill auctions.
ES is holding us back right now. Needs to pop this.
Chevron says they're shutting in oil production at Petronius Gulf platform.
Gotta get through this 25 guy.
US 3-month bill or high yield or 3.73% bid cover of 3, with the US selling $92 billion or 3-month bills and awarding 73.01% of bids on high. US 6-month bill high yield of 3.835%, bid cover of 2.94, with the US selling $79 billion 6-month bills and awarding 51.45% of bids on high. So Chevron says all Petronius workers moving ashore ahead of Gulf storm.
What's up, man? All right. Just hopefully at the end of this sickness. This thing rocked me. I've never had a virus like go from like one system to the next system. It's just like started with a sore throat 2 weeks ago. and then it just went to like my vocal cords, and then my sinuses, and then my eyes. It's like, all right, man, like, chill out. Yeah. Yeah, it's the worst. Just like kept going to my doctor, and they were like, "Well, that sucks. Rest some more." Like, I don't have 3 weeks to just not be able to do like function. They're like, you're contagious until you're not. Oh, just rest. And you want me to be like isolated for 3 weeks? It's miserable. But I'm gonna go to the doctor again today, after I get off, just to check. I want to make sure my eyes are good. That's the thing I'm most worried about, because I know, what is it called? Like conjunctivitis is super contagious. So if that's now like good enough to like get out of the house, then I'll do that. Because I can wear a mask, no problem. I don't care. This has got to go soon, man, or I give up. Yeah. All this effort to not sustain above is crazy. This is really like our only chance, right? This is our retest of our daily POC from the other side on NQ. ES looks a bit worse. Needs to really clearly get back above this. The problem with ES is that it's yesterday's or Friday's POC as resistance, right? And it's today's value high to POC as resistance. So like nothing has changed on ES. The only thing that we know for sure is that we sustained Friday's value low and today's value low. It's the same level. So we have a very clear pivot above that we need to be able to breach through for me to feel confident that we're going to do something new. So I'm dependent on NQ to start to lead this move up by a sustained hold above our POC here on retest. That then would hopefully then lead us up on ES, giving us a move. There's a reason why I haven't been trading ES today is because there's nothing to do other than buy this low here on our value low, right? We need to see if NQ is going to be able to sustain here and then look above and then hold, or if this is going to be a look above, fail, and then rotation back through. And it's just going to rotate like this all today. I just don't have the answers for, I can't call expansion if we're not outside of value, right? Like it's not, that's not how this works. So right now we are continuing to maintain our value edges and we are playing around them. We know where our pivot is, but if buy side exhausts, you know, it is what it is. So we'll see what they do here, but if there's no interest above, there's no interest above. Doesn't matter. Anyone see the Odyssey this weekend? You like it? People are raving about it. Did you watch it on 70mm? Holding our pivot so far, no change. New Avengers, holy. When was the last time that Marvel made a good movie? Ugh. Was it Endgame? Was Endgame the last good movie that they made? Holy, get me out of here.
XAI unveils Grok add-in for Microsoft Excel. So SpaceX AI says Grok for Excel is free for Microsoft 365 add-in. Grok for Excel is also available for Word and PowerPoint.
Man, who are the people who are using Grok? Are you guys out here using Grok instead of Claude? or Codex. If you're not using like either Codex or Claude, I just don't really understand. Human, bespoke human crafted code. True. Good bounce off of 980. That's exactly what we wanted to see for a hold for sustain. They got to do this shit now, man. I mean, just bid off 980. That's what you want to see. But if they can't follow through into highs on this test, I'm out. I'm done. Russell still oscillating. No follow through. Needs to find a low here with NQ bidding these higher lows, or again, like it's just dead. We want to see Russell find some sort of higher low bid for a pop, or again, it's just going to do a full oscillation back down to these lows off another failure. Yes, flat, just maintaining POC. Good trap into that low, but again, need fucking follow through. ES top of range, NQ high, RTY high or low. They got to do this, man. They just stall out here again. Well, this is RTY POC shifting to our pivot here. I'm taking off my first risk into 60 here off our hold. So we pop this. Next target will be 80. For ES, 30 to 35 is target into previous day value high. See if Russell can get some follow through here.
US stocks of crude oil supply in the US SPR fell by about 5.1 million barrels to 311.4 million barrels last week, the lowest since 1983.
Do I send out entry in Discord? I mean, I usually, what I'm looking for about 5 minutes before it happens. It's just this. I don't like post entries or exits. I mean, I just like let you know. And I post screenshots. But I don't like at everyone. I just bought 5 MES and then at everyone 5 seconds later when I scalp out, I just sold 5 MES. Like, that's not going to be helpful to you. I'm a scalper. I trade on the 15 and 30-second chart. What is a signal going to tell you? Like, you're either here and you're trading it, or you're following the daily plan or the weekly plan that I post in the morning, which gives you actual plays. You know what I'm saying? The problem with anything other than me doing it live is that slippage is going to completely change your RR compared to what I'm doing. It's the thing that you don't think about when you're watching someone who's scalping, is that if you're trying to take a delayed entry on something that I'm doing, your risk to reward is going to be very different than mine. If you get an entry, let's say 5 or 10 points differently than my entry, right? I might only be looking for 20 points. So now my 2-to-1 is now a 1-to-1 for you, right? It's a very different trade. So I let you know what I'm looking for, where I'm looking for it, why I'm looking for it, right? I prepare you in the area, and then we trade it together. I give you my invalidation. I let you know when I'm stopped out. I let you know when I'm risking off, right? Those are the things that actually matter. But for actual entries, right? Like, unless something invalidates what I'm saying, then I'm in, right? It just is what it is. This is why I have a zone of interest, and then I play around that zone. And until it invalidates, then I play in that direction. Because again, if I try to give you like a to the tick entry, and then you buy in the middle of the range, like, that's not the same trade I took. And just buy the edge of balance, and then let's play to the other side of balance and risk off. As long as that that zone doesn't invalidate, right, and we don't show acceptance below, then we're still in play. Right, like, wait, this is the same level that when I got on this morning, this 980 to 010 that we were playing around, and it's the same idea, which is just we need to see acceptance above and an ability to hold. And we've finally done that, and now we're pushing into our PVC target. But like, are you going to be able to hold through this chop? Is this going to be a trade that you want to take, or are you going to exit? Like, I don't know, man. I'm not in control of your execution. And if you're unwilling to take the same risk that I am, then you're trading a very different system than me. right? Because if you're only taking 1/5 of the opportunities that I take, then you're not going to have the same win rate as me because you're only taking 1/5 of the opportunity. It skews the stats. So I don't really do that because I've had really bad experience with it in the past where people get very selective and then they wonder why they are not performing at the same rate as me. And it's like, okay, well, you're being selective with the trades that you're taking that I'm calling out. So of course you're going to have a different everything than me because you're not trading the same system. Or you're adding me, you know, 10 minutes later and I was in a scalp and you're like, is this still valid? It's like, brother, understand the system before you trade it. So yeah, I mean, a lot of the times I do show exactly what I'm looking for, my pathing, where I'm looking for the bid to be, where invalidations are. I do say those things, but again, like I don't at everyone. I don't think that that's, I think that's only good for like swing trading. But what I do give is a daily plan, a weekly plan, levels where I'm looking for very specific things to happen, and then a very clear system of what we're watching for and how to trade around it. I don't know. I don't think that anything that you pay for that is dependent on me being here for you to make money is good, personally. Like, I'll teach you how I look at the market. I'll teach you what I see. We can trade it together when I'm around, right? But if I'm not around, that shouldn't be your edge. And it can be, and you can still be profitable just by doing that. But are you going to be able to have the self-control to stop trading when I'm not trading? That's the question. So I'd rather give you what you need to know so that you can do it on your own when I'm not here and still be okay. That's kind of my goal. With the idea of hopefully one day everyone is bouncing ideas off in chat and we have like a pretty solid group of traders that are, you know, accountable to each other and willing to share ideas and grow together. Good push. Good hold. Oh, let's go. I'm out another 5 contracts here. I have 10 left right now. I'm closing 5 into our ETHI. Then let's see if we can get this moved to like 140, 160. I just don't know if we're going to be able to push through this on Russell, and we're pushing into our ES pivot here. So we'll see. I have 5 contracts left at 0.20. Let's see if we get this last leg up. This is just our value rotation that we talked about, right? So what do we need to see for the actual breach to happen? Well, this look above on NQ, incredibly good, right? We just need to now see it sustain on retest. This is our look above and fail area, right? This is where we need to see price be able to hold above. If we can do this, then we can retest highs. Easy. But we need to see if we're going to be able to sustain here. Oops, wrong tool. If we're going to be able to sustain above, or if this is going to look back below and then rotate through value. Same thing with ES. Can we sustain here above value high? This is POC from Friday. We have to get through this and show interest above, or this is going to fail, rotate back through, and then we're going to just trade balance once again. So this is a really important area to let us know if we're going to be able to do anything new here today. Really important that we show that interest. Let's see what we do. We can bid that. I'd like to see some sort of pullback here. I'm guessing it's going to happen with ES into our 30-second opening range, which is at this 33. And then we'll watch to see what we do. Into our pivot here now. Again, like the most important thing is being able to start to sustain above this level. Or this is just going to be rotating between our POC and our value high. We probably have room to VWAP here on Russell short term. NQ just at our ETH high. Probably just come back to retest our PVC here. And then we'll figure it out. Love to see that 140, 160. Something like that. But we'll pull back here off of our 30-second opening range would be my guess, short term. See how much we get. Buyers really trying into these highs. This is Russell VWAP, where I expect to lose momentum, and then we'll watch to see what happens. I'm just taking off another 2 contracts here on NQ, and then I'm just going to leave runners and see if we can add to this position after we figure out what's going to happen on Russell into VWAP. You do whatever you want, just move your stops up. And again, like, I'm not bearish here. I just think that a pullback was probably going to be necessary to retest the absorption flip. And then from there, we can then retest highs. That's all. It would just be really good structurally if we did that. If we don't need to retest, then I don't know if we're going to have what we need to sustain. If we go straight back up to our open, I'd be much more comfortable looking for like a larger expansion. If we were able to retest successfully of this range that we just broke out of, which I think we will, but we'll see. Good rejection so far off a VWAP on Russell and into our zone where we thought that pullback would be. Just watching to see how we build here. I think we can come back a little bit further still, but good take on NQ. NQ might be able to defend this and pop us. We'll see. This 95, 100 was a good little trap that they just did. U15's opening now, opening below POC on ES, above on NQ flat. Keeping an eye on this. We have quite the LVN that we can traverse through here if we can't get over. That would just go into our area of interest. I'm just going to delete this so that I can put it on a cleaner. Yeah. And then RTY we're watching here. Watching like this 25 area on ES, I think. That'd be our first sign of life if we were gonna hold. We can pull back a bit further and it wouldn't be the end of the world, but anywhere between like 22 to like 26 is really where we're watching. It's just like, can we sustain above where this previous range maintained, right? Just wait for Russell to find that low. That'll be our sign. Again, this makes sense for a pullback. This is our 30-second opening range high on ES, or sorry, our ORL off our 30-second as well as previous day value high. So It is exactly where we expected our sell side to show, with Russell into our VWAP as our reversion target. And then you just expect, like, unless we're going to just pop it aggressively, that this will be where sell side starts to, or buy side starts to unload some of their profits. Take some realized, just like I did, right? You know, a lot of people who are going to be selling into a known pivot, a known area of resistance, because that is what makes sense. So when we go and look, right, remember, like, why we care about this area. Like, this is Friday's POC to value high, right? And this is us retesting our value on NQ as well when the breakout. So it's like a pretty easy area to be like, oh yeah, that makes sense to look for some profit taking, and then a very clear shift of our auction if we can hold this for rotations higher, if we can sustain our value edge, right? Break a balance. But we got to show that on ES. And with Russell at VWAP, right, like that's a pretty obvious resistance when we're below it. So when we trade into it, I expect, you know, some people to be executing there on the sell side, as well as buyers taking profit, which will make ES push down short term. And then we just look to see where this bid's going to happen, and then we go from there. I'm in the Discord, but I don't know where to sub. Just on the website. On There should be like a getting started section or something in the Discord. But if not, you can just look at the description on this video, and it should take you to the website. Yeah, this is another good way to visualize it. If you like the pullback idea, let's make this big. Let me post this. So this is our delta for the session so far. What do we notice? Is there like a pretty clear pivot where we're flipping around on both ES and NQ here? Do we see like where sell side was getting absorbed for the first rotation up on the day? And then where we saw sell side absorb buyers into our highs, right, with these deltas here, and then shove us back down to the same pivot. And then we see that buy side got absorbed on the look below, right, of this level. So on the look down, we then saw them get absorbed, and then we rotated down off of that, right? And then we retested, sell side stepped in, we rotated back down, right? Same again, rotated back down, but we put in a higher low here, and then we've popped above. So this is our first real shift that we've seen above this pivot here on ES. And we're seeing that there's some sellers sitting here, right, into this level where we took our profit. Now we're watching for a pullback to see if this bid is valid. If we can sustain here on this pop and hold as we look back in, that'd be great to let us know that this is a honest reaction and that we have shifted the auction from this lower state, right, back up to this upper state, right? So that's what we're keeping
Iran's
our eye on
press
right
TV
now.
says that an industrial facility in central Iran's Khomeini city was attacked by the US.
If we can flip this, like we know where we're going to head, right? Back up to these guys up here to fill this into our 40 to 45. Same thing on NQ where we had a very clear flip where we absorbed in the morning and then we popped and then saw absorption into our highs into 160s, right? And then we had a very clear pivot that we flipped and then bid and then stepped up off of. So as we test here, we need to figure out if this 80 is going to continue to maintain, and then that rotates up to our 160, or if we're going to need to come down here to retest this area from our 010 to like, I don't know, 50, which is kind of what I'm thinking that we're going to need to do personally, which is just come down, show that we have this bid, and then we can step up. Same thing on ES, right? So that's why I'm expecting this pullback to be here, because we had a breach of our larger absorption and we flipped it, but we haven't retested it yet. And with how we're interacting right now, we're not seeing the follow through we need for this to just happen in a one shot. So when we start to stall out like this, it's like, oh, okay, well, we're gonna have to come back and retest this auction high to make sure that we can sustain here, and then we can go on our way. Hopefully that makes sense of like why I was anticipating this, especially with Russell into VWAP. And then it's just about like, okay, well, now we just be patient here, and we've taken off most of our profits, and we're now watching to see if we can build. And then this gives us a really good opportunity to then try to add in a dip into these areas, because we'll raise our average price, right, from where we got in at our lows, and then we'll be able to add here with a very clear invalidation of when we're wrong, right? We'll be looking for that dip into this, we'll be looking for that bid to step up, right, that higher low, and then if we ever flip below this, then our runners will go against us, right, and then we'll close out, and then we can play this rotation back through. Because what'll have happened if this pivot fails and then we flip back below? Well, like all these guys will be trapped above, right? And then we'll just play the same rotation again, but with a catalyst now, because we have traders trapped outside of our auction who failed to sustain the highs. So then anyone who attempted here to bid on this pullback will be off sides. And so then we can then play with them as a failure and then a rotation through, and then probably a take out of these lows even, because these guys will be offsides above from a failure to sustain. So like that's the idea, is that we have a very clear pivot that we can play around. We're just looking for that pullback now. And if we can get that, then we can keep going. If it fails, then we'll look for them to put in that lower offer and then play the secondary move, right? On the look back through for the rotation back through our auction that we are very familiar with. So that's the idea, right? We either expand or we get back into balance trapping. So here's our pullback. Let's see what they do. We're just waiting for Russell to find this low. I'm assuming it's going to be somewhere in here. And we have our pivot already highlighted, this like 010, 050 area on NQ. Just watching as we push back into that. And ES just coming back down to VWAP off of our failure here. You think the website is rigged? So again, this is just NQ retesting our value edge here. This is right at our look above and fail zone, right? This red zone. This is ES rejecting our value high, just coming back down to POC. We're watching to see if we can continue to bid here. If we can do that, then we're good to go for continuation. If this fails, we'll be looking for that lower offer and then that rotation through our range, just like we talked about. So just waiting for ES and RTY to find this low, and then we'll see if we can keep going or if this just wants to rotate through again. But NQ looks by far the best with us holding our value edge. Very clear, AMT setup with value high holding is supportive so far.
UKMTO says they received a report of an incident 17 nautical miles off of the east of UAE's Dibba. UK's Andy Burnham outlines UK's commitment to securing shipping in Hormuz. UK MTO says the master of the vessel reported being struck by an unknown projectile, causing damage to the steering gear.
All right, let's see what happens as we come down to our targets here on ES, NQ, and RTY. This is our pivot on NQ, just we just talked about. Same thing with Russell. So we come into the 70. Yeah, watching. Says ES pulling back to POC and view up. Let's see if we can find a bid and then a higher low to play off of, or if that's all we get. Excuse me. Okay, so we so far called the literal low on both. Let's see if we can get some follow through here, or if there's going to reject and continue this down, right? We haven't breached the lower highs yet. So this is still just a downtrend. We need to push above, but our pivots we're able to maintain. I want to see that higher low hold and pop, show interest above. We want to see that same thing on Russell as well for that push back up to VWAP here. If we fail to do that, right, and this can't sustain above, we might need to head down first. With the downtrend still intact, right? We're still just in a channel. So we'll see. But really good initial response where we thought they would. Let's see if we can get out of here. I'm going to post the same photo that I put into Discord, just again, but with where we were expecting reactions to be, so that you can see it is what we talked about. We just need to now see if we're going to get follow through or not. Huge sell stepped in. Holy.
Keeping an eye on the SP 500, just seeing a little bit of downside movement here. Trump on Truth Social says every time Iran kills an American soldier, they will pay for that killing many times over. This directive has been passed on to Secretary of War Hegseth. So again, every time Iran kills an American soldier, they will pay for that killing many times over. I said a little bit of movement towards the upside on the Dixie, a little bit of downside on the SP 500. WTI saw a little bit of a rise there for the back of the headline from Trump.
I mean, we'll see what they do here. This could be a really great opportunity. Watching retest. Our push into 20s to 25. Watching our reoffer on ES. NQ is still sustaining where it needs to. Looks fine to me personally. But if we can't get over 50, then we can look for downside here. Just watching our retests. Again, we are still in our downtrend. We rejected across the board. Watching for follow through here to let us know which way we're going to go. This is the flip of our pivots on both ES and on NQ. So if they sustain this, then we have a really solid downside leg. If they fail here and we pop back above, then we have a beautiful trap. So I'm just watching to see how we interact here pivot wise, because this is going to be our next leg. So let's keep an eye on it and see what they do. We're seeing absorption so far into 30s on NQ. Nothing yet on ES that I care about. I think it's going to happen more so up at 23, 24. I don't trust this yet. Not enough fuel on NQ. ES looks okay. Good pivot rejection. I'm waiting. Not enough people got trapped there, in my opinion, on that retest. Still feels a little neutral. Don't you know, Ty, we're in a 3-day military incursion that just happens to be going on for the last 5 months? True. Yes, following pathing so far, watching this 23-24 to let us know what we're going to do here. This is where I'd expect they try to trap if they were going to do it on ES. I'm not seeing it yet, but this is, again, where I'd expect it. Nothing crazy yet. We're just watching to see how we interact here. If any large deltas step in. NQ, they're trying at 30s, but I don't think it's going to do anything. I'm waiting on ES to let us know. Russell continuing to push. See if we can flip our pivots. These retests will be incredibly important for us to let us know if we're going to be able to pop it. Again, there was just no follow through on these lows, which is why I thought the short was not worthwhile. No big deltas, no follow through from participants. Just a classic news candle. But no one really wanting to play so far. This is why waiting for us to come back up to these where a potential absorption high could be above this value where we saw the sweep is important. This is why this area matters to me, is this is where that sweep and that where sell side could step in again. We look to see if they'll follow through below. Oh. I need to see someone get absorbed, and then I need to see a secondary seller step in via delta for me to think that we're not just going to continue what we're doing. Just gotta look real. The only thing I know with a certainty is that we have an active bid at 66 on Russell that's been able to lift price. That's the only thing that we know for sure. These other lows are garbage. No absorption so far on ES here, which is telling me that we can probably look for a rebid so far. Watching NQ on this little look above as well into 50, into POC of previous candle. Let's see how we operate here. Can we find a bid? Any excitement? We'll know shortly. remember the game plan for taking a trade. We want to see a trap trader. We want to see a secondary participant, right, below a pivot. That's our arm, and that's our trigger. Until we have those, right, these are just levels. We want to see active participants in our market that we can then operate around. If we don't see it, then we don't take a trade. I wish there was more active participants for this move. Someone just got eaten up at 16s there. I'm trying to sweep below. I'm just not comfortable taking anything yet. You've got an NQ seller trying at this 29K 05 area. They're really trying to load the boat below 010 to try to initiate here again. Remember, this is our 010 to 980 area. I'll watch to see what we do here. This is important. You can see it on our footprint as well. They're really trying to load here. But I just am not seeing it on ES yet. And Russell looks absolutely fine, in my opinion. So it's not worth it. Maybe I miss a move. We'll see. But I need follow through, and I'm not seeing what I need. Again, like a very clear buyer in our low at 66s on RTY. Let's see what they do. This guy on NQ is definitely trying. Yeah, I see him, but I don't know, man. We'll see. I'm not comfortable with it yet. Yeah, I mean the issue is that like it might move without me, and that's okay. But like I'm not gonna take the trade if I don't see someone that I want to be playing with. If it's just the bid stepping out of the way, like that's not a trade plan for me, and it's not a catalyst. Like if sell side just wants to push this down, like okay, sure. But if I can't find like an entry that makes sense to me, then I just won't take it. So I'd rather wait and see if that pops up. Play around something that feels a bit more probable to me than just like hope and pray that we get continuation here. Yeah, I mean, it's following our pathing to a T. I just don't have exactly what I want to see. So I am just not going to take it until I see that flip. I want to see a better reoffer, but like our pivots are playing very well. It's just a bit too slow. Maybe a reoffer of POC on NQ, and then I play it down to value low. If I can see like some absorption into 29K or like 980 to 010, I don't know. Same pivot as before. I need to see like a pretty clear flip and hold here. So we push into that, and then we could play it down to like, I don't know, 910. Play off of that seller. See if we can get into this again. And then play this down into like this. Just very worried about this guy at 66 on Russell. That's just gonna pop us again. Man, I guess I'm not worried about it. That's gonna be the catalyst that gives us our potential short. That'll give us our relief bounce that we're expecting, but I need to then see like a pretty clear absorption then into this. There's the bounce we expected. I'm watching to see if we can find like an actual participant here to See if they're going to sell into this and then give us like that low for that move down to 010, or if we're going to fail here and then flip. Watch Russell. Testing our 980 right now. Pretty solid reaction off of our rejection there at 980 to 29K at a POC. Let's see if we can get a follow through here at our lows. This would be a great first risk off, depending, even if you bought 980 or 29K at our POC. Either one, right? We're just watching to see if we can breach this low with a sweep for that move down to our like 910 area, following our pathing. Got our bounce off of Russell that gave us that relief bounce that we were expecting. Russell rejected our high pivot. Watching as we come back down that low again. We would like to see NQ breach this low before Russell does a full oscillation, or we might not get it immediately. Let's see what they do here. We really want to see follow through. See if they can sweep this. They got to take it if we're going to do this leg down. Or we do another oscillation here. Pretty lackluster here on NQ so far. ES hopefully leads. Seller at 508. Problem is RTY is back at the 66. And if it reacts again, then we just come back up to my break even at 980. I just don't know if we're going to be able to get that move down to 920, 910 that I want before we retest my break even. If we don't get the sweeper here. It's just so fucking slow, man. I have a limit sell at 923.
According to White House Press Secretary
Just in
Levitt,
case
Trump
they
to
sweep
attend
it.
dignified transfer tomorrow evening.
What a miserable sell. Alright, I'm out on that little pop. They might go to target. I only have one contract though, and I'm not trying to give it all back, so we'll see what happens. I'll take my 800. Watching Russell into our top of range here again, off of another bid, and our lows. Later, man. It just feels like way too much like a coin flip if we're going to go to target or not. So I'd rather just secure profits with only one contract. If I had two contracts, I would have left a runner, no problem. But with only one, it's like I'm going to secure the 800. Just is what it is. I can't stand trading NQ when it's only like, 1 to 4 contracts on the DOM at each price point. It's just not good trading. When it's that thin, it's just like way too easy to manipulate. Did you ever publish the 15-minute NQ chart? Are you talking about this one? I think so. I think it's called this in templates. SIG NQ 15-minute FP/VP. It's weird that it's not there. Tradeify is not good with the, like, they only update, like, once a week, it feels like. I don't know why it's not showing. I'll try to repost it. And then, what are the issues that it has? Oh, that is a bad issue.
So the UK government announced that John Healey is the Chancellor of the Exchequer. So John Healey named UK Chancellor of the Exchequer.
That's your, we're pushing in a target now. I only had one, so I didn't let this play, but that's full target. 920, 910. As well as ES into PVZ target. So again, we talked about the failure and the lost momentum where we closed our longs into our 30-second opening range here on ES, right? That was the indication with Russell into VWAP as our lost momentum for the upside targets, right? We then were looking for a pullback. The pullback worked, but then Trump news happened and we couldn't breach our higher lows. So didn't get continuation, right? Got this really insane spike down. And then we waited for this to fully play out. And then we took a short on when we actually found an entry and we played this down to here. Once we actually had a good pivot to play around, right? And that allowed us to then take a trade that we were confident in off of an area of interest that we actually cared about, rather than just gambling that we were going to continue downwards for no reason. Into target now on NQ, watching to see what we do. Russell into our buyer here at 66. Let's see if that flips or if they bid it again. Unsure. I'm flat. Oh, look, even our indicator took the same trade. Arm, trigger. This was the short that we just took. Cool to see us take the same trade without knowing it. It's like I built the system or something. Bounce at our target so far on NQ and ES. Previous day value low on ES. NQ at our pivot at our 920, 910. Coming up to retest our 50-minute POC from our previous candle here. Bounce at our 66s on Russell. No change. Very clear that there's a buyer at 66 on RTY. All right, well, we'll just have to check tomorrow to see if these profiles on the 50-minute load. I think they only update once a day. I don't know why they're not showing right now, but we'll see. But I just tried to relaunch them as public. Just gotta remind me to look again. Yeah. Again, this was our target. This was the low so far. We'll watch to see what Russell does off of our 66 as we push back up into our highs. If it's just going to do another oscillation, then that'll be the high on NQ and ES short term. I don't know. We'll see. Just using Russell as an oscillator until proven that it wants to do something new. You think this is Tatum surf? I think it is. Russell highs, lost momentum across the board, pushing back down on NQ and ES. Minute 40 until new 15s. There might be something setting up on ES, but I'm not seeing the same follow through on NQ yet, so not a lot to talk about. Really, there's not much to do until Russell figures out which way it wants to breach on this oscillation, or we'll continue to just bid off of that 66 that we identified off of the first pop. But there's
Sterling pairs decline after John Healey named new finance minister, last down 0.16%.
But there's a pretty clear absorption taking place on ES that at this 04 to 08. And if that continues to maintain, I am interested in potential continuation down. If this guy continues to get taken in, just gonna have to keep our eye on it. I don't see anything on NQ yet. Just chop. Really watching this node build here on ES at our pivot. See if this look above can hold. Or if this is going to trap. A little B shape here. I'm watching to see if this buying tail can hold. Or if they get absorbed here into 08s again. And then we step below and then sweep. Again, this is just where I've been spotting that absorption here at 08s. Need to see if they'll be able to sustain here, or if, again, this is just gonna exhaust on the look above and then look back below this buying tail and then re-offer it.
UK Prime Minister Burnham spoke with EU's von der Leyen this afternoon. It's coming from the Prime Minister's office, UK PM Burnham and EU's von der Leyen agreed their team should work closely towards a UK-EU summit later in the year.
Four and a half minutes left on this candle. I don't know, man. This looks okay on ES. Hoping for a little bit more follow through, but there's some pretty clear trap participants up here into these highs. Watching Russell at our 66 here again to see if it bids or if we'll get a change of state. But ES might lead us down with Russell if we can get this pop through. Some really good trap trades on ES there in that low. See what happens here. We just flipped that B profile. We're now below those buyers. And the offer is putting that lower high off of that 8 that we identified at 508. Now stepping down below 504. Russell into our 66. Let's see if we get a bid or if we can shift here, lower high, and then see some sell side speed start to step in. Highest I'd want to see us to come up is like 504 on ES, if anything. But let's see if we can just get some follow through here. Excuse me.
Ed Miliband named UK Foreign Secretary. UK Shabana Mahmood to be appointed Interior Minister. And Louise Haigh named as First Secretary of State.
All right. Not terrible, but I was hoping for a bit more reaction here. Let's see if we can get some more follow through. Afternoons are the worst, man. I don't even know why I try to stay. Another bounce, Russell 66s. ES back to our absorption here. Failure to do anything new. Another bounce at our 910 target on NQ. No change. No ability to do anything new. What do I see? I mean, we're just rotating off of our target from our short. ES is trying to flip above our 08s again. We'll see if it can sustain, but Russell's just oscillating. You can't be really confident in anything until we see Russell breach out of this oscillation, or it's just going to continue to do this where we lose momentum into these highs, just like every other attempt. So need to see a pretty clear pop here and then shift above with ES holding. NQ as well is just at our 980 to 010 that we've been trading all morning. So we'll see if they can pop it and hold it. Not a ton here until we show that. And then once we do though, then it'll just be a reversion to VWAP. Right, up into here. So we'll just watch to see if they can sustain here. We see this buyer who's trying. It'll come back down. And then we'll watch to see if we can build and then pop with Russell pushing out. Or if this is going to lose all momentum, trap, and then create a new low. I mean, there's nothing. That's basically all we can see. It is really important that we see ES show interest above these guys who are absorbing last. If we can sustain it, then we have something potentially. And then again, it's just a reversion back up. You can see that our area of interest, this 04 to 08 is just value high to POC. Just put that on there so that you can see it's the same thing. So what we're watching for is, can we sustain above the distribution, right? And then rotate up to our mean reversion target into 18 to 20. Watching Russell into our highs. Russell losing momentum into our top of our range, just like we talked about. ES and NQ rejecting, just like we talked about. This is our 980 on NQ. It's the same pivot we've been playing off of for, I don't know, maybe 2/3 of the time that I've been on today. Watching to see if we find a higher low here. Again, we're looking for acceptance above our previous absorption where we were rejecting before. We're looking to see if the bid will hold and pop. Watching now. Let's see what they do. Okay, well, there's the trade, boys. Take off your first risk here. Look for 18 to 22's next target.
According to Israel News, residents are reporting explosions in the skies over Israel's Elliot.
Surf, check this out. Cool visual. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense, Abu. With Russell holding where it is, I would expect that we go up to Russell VWAP. And ES and NQ are able to maintain where they are. But we'll see. But this is a very clear shift compared to before, right? Where we were just oscillating below. We're now trying to build. I'd expect something like this. We'll see. We're still just in this runners from our bounce here. I'd love to see a final target into 2022. But it makes sense that you're seeing some buying on NQ. We're holding POC, right? On our previous 15-minute candle here. We're breaching above our range. We just showed interest above. The problem on NQ is that there's just this seller above that we're going to have to battle with at that 010. But if POC can shift down here and we can build, then we could maybe go up. I don't know. NQ looks not as good just because we have such a clear POC and VWAP rejection point up above us. That well, it'll look much better once we actually flip that. Once we do, it'll be much better. It's just we're like holding value low to POC right now, right? It's like a pretty clear range that we're trading in. If we can show interest above POC, right, that changes things. Then we can look for value high. But we need to see it first, right? So this is what I'm saying, is that we just held our value low. We're at POC, right, the middle of our range. Value high would be here. So if we can show interest above, sick. ES also held our low, right, where we've been bidding all day. So I'd like to see 20s, right? That's our target. That would be POC to value high as we push up into this guy. But I don't know how much more we're going to get than that. If we can flip this, then yeah, we can head up for sure. If not, then it's going to be more of this garbage. But the entire day can be basically summarized between our two zones of control here. Look below and fail, bid, pop. Look above, fail, look below, pop, right? No sustain below or above our two zones, which is just our value there. And without ES showing any interest over this guy here, which is Friday's POC to value, there just isn't much to do while we wait for that to actually show any sort of interest. We're holding Friday's value low, which is good, but a lack of interest above.
According to Tasnim News,
means
a power
nothing.
station in Bahrain has been attacked. Iran claims that this site is a C2 and artificial intelligence data center for the US military.
I'm gonna take off another 5 here on ES, just into our highs, and then I'll leave 10 runners just in case into the 20, 22. I don't know. I don't really care. Too slow, man. All right, let's see if Russell can do it. Russell will be our lead. We held our lows where we identified that buyer at 66. right now. Again, just trying to build above VWAP target. If we can hold this, that's obvious. All right, pushing into target now, NES with Russell holding and pushing. NQ coming into our target at 010s. Yes, at our 18 to 22. All right, that's probably the last trade for me. This is way too slow. Yeah. But that's the breach. That's what we were waiting for. Hold our lows on Russell. No ability to short because we know that there's a buyer here. We identified them here and told you over and over again that this is where that 66 is and that buyers sustains. Just oscillation until
According
we
to
either
Arab
flip
News,
below
loud
or
explosions
we
were
hold.
heard at US bases in Jordan.
I don't really have much else here. If we shift POC, then sure, we can go up and then we can look for value high. But that's your breach and hold from our absorption at 08. I don't know, man. It's too slow for me. Very boring. Boring isn't like always bad, but it is when it's also not great trading. Like it's just slow. I'm gonna try to leave runners, but it could easily come back on us. We just did the full move. I don't know, man.
Coming here for the Wall Street Journal, BlackRock leads $12 billion financing for new Meta data center in Texas. A bit more further info into this article. BlackRock is leading a debt sale targeting at least $12 billion for its massive new El Paso data center project backed by Meta platforms, according to people familiar with the story.
Auto Trader seems to be doing well. Sheesh.
We have posted the article from the Wall Street Journal on the feed for those interested.
Break even. Good short. Break even. Small profit. Break even. Good short. Break even. Break even.
So coming again from Wall Street Journal, Iranian attack that killed at least 2 US service members struck prefabricated housing units, according to sources. 3 missiles that slipped through air defenses points to challenges in protecting estimated 50,000 troops in the region. And the attack was one of 3 separate missile strikes on the airbase in 24 hours last week.
Yeah, I'm just rejecting our highs so far. Excuse me. Yeah, I'm out of here. I mean, there's not much to do. Like I said, it's just POC to value low right now. It's pretty boring. If we breach out of this, maybe there's something new, but it's just our full rotation. What time is it? 2:22. Yeah, I'm gonna go to the minute clinic and see if I am contagious still or if I'm good. You guys have a good rest of your session. I'll see you tomorrow. Pretty boring day, but good nonetheless. All right, peace.